How's it going, guys? I'm back because I have a lot of books to show. This is everything that I've picked up comic book related over the last month or so. So I've got a couple of Second and Charles hauls, all of my new books for the month of December, and then a couple things that I got for Christmas. I don't know what I'm going to title this yet, but we'll figure that out. I don't know. I don't post on here quite as frequently as I used to anymore. If you want to keep up with me a little bit more than once every 3 months, I'll post the link to my Twitter account below, which I don't use quite as much as I used to in the past, but I'm trying to start doing so again. So head over there, follow me if you want to get more regular updates on what's going on. And yeah, so let's get into some books. I'm gonna start with all of my new books for December. It's not quite as many as it used to be. Slowly trimming things down. This has got to be like maybe 25 bucks, maybe 20 bucks. There were just some things that I was reading that I just wasn't super crazy about, and I'm in a place now where I'm cutting down my pull list. I'm going to be still doing my discount comic book service order once a month, and then I'm going to be putting in an in-stock trades order to get some trades and things that I would like to be reading, because now that my pull list is smaller, I can afford that stuff. So less buying of new books, especially the stuff that I'm not super into, spending more time just reading things in general that I enjoy and that I want to check out. So getting into the new books, there's only a couple of Marvel books. We'll start with those. I'm only reading 2 ongoing Marvel series now. The first of which is X-Men Gold. This is number 17, and then this is number 18 with Nightcrawler on the cover. This is the Negative Zone War storyline. I haven't been quite as crazy about X-Men Gold over the last like 6 issues or so as I was in the beginning. It's still a good book, and I'm going to continue reading it because of the team, and I'm also picking up Red once that starts in March. I think it's in March. But yeah, I think that if we were to go another 10 issues or so, and I were feeling the same way about this book, and Red starts and it's good, I would probably drop this in favor of another book. And I've dropped Blue because I'm kind of over the time-displaced X-Men thing. I read 40-something issues of all new X-Men of that, and I'm just not super into it anymore. So, and then another X-Men book. This is X-Men Grand Design by Ed Piskor. This is part 1 of a 2-part story where he's kind of he's kind of trying to compile all the X-Men's history into a couple of issues. Highly recommend checking this out. I haven't read the issue yet, but I've heard good things. I think the artwork and the presentation alone is worth checking it out, even if you're familiar with the stories, which I, for the most part, am. And then the only other ongoing Marvel book that I'm reading, because it's Wade and Samney, is Captain America. This is number 696. This is technically issue 2 of their run. I've loved everything that I've read Wade and Samney from Marvel. So there wasn't any doubt that I was going to pick this book up. It just feels like what a Captain America book should feel like. So can't recommend that one enough. So now into some independent books, and forgive me, I am a little bit behind on these, so I'm not going to... I won't be able to speak to them as much as I normally would. This is Killer Be Killed number 14. Always one of my favorite books, but I'm like 2 issues behind, so I won't talk about that one. I'm also a little bit behind on Grass Kings. This is number 10. This book just moves so slow that if I were to cut some more books, this would probably be on the short list. I think it would just read really well in trade, just because you pick up you get one single issue a month, and you get very little progression in the story. It just kind of feels, sometimes it's a little disappointing, so we'll see. And then another book that I was going to drop, but I've decided to stick around. This is Royal City number 8. I have not read the most recent issue yet, but I'm current up through number 7. A new book that I just picked up. This is Evolution number 2. I read the first 2 issues kind of back to back, and I really enjoyed them. The way that this story is written, I think there's 3, maybe even 4 writers on the book, and they're all telling different storylines in the same issue, so they're all responsible for their own kind of piece of the puzzle. And I think that's a really interesting way to do it. The art is also great. I think it's Joe Infernari. He did the art on The Bunker, which I also enjoyed, so would recommend picking that one up. I think it's probably 3 issues in at this point. I have the first 2. And then this is Department H number 21. No idea why, like, one random issue out of the run has like the title font changed and everything. Kind of bothers me a little bit, but just when I was like getting a little tired of it, because it's a Matt Kindt book and it moves really, really slow. It's going to be ending at issue 24, so everything will be wrapped up at that point. Mia, I think her name's Mia, is investigating who killed her dad. Obviously, by the end of the book, we should know what happened. So looking forward to that. And then the last independent book, this is Sherlock, Frankenstein, and the Legion of Evil. This is number 3. I've been enjoying this. I don't know why this couldn't have been done inside of Black Hammer as like backups or whatever. I don't know why we needed a separate book to do this. And or like, I don't know why it couldn't have been done. This particular story is Black Hammer's daughter. She's trying to find Sherlock Frankenstein because she thinks that he knows what might have happened to her dad. And I don't know why we couldn't have gotten this just as a story in the Black Hammer book. Like, why couldn't it have been an arc in Black Hammer? Instead, it's done, coming out right now. It came out through issue 13, and then it's relaunching, and it's called All New Black Hammer, which I get because that's what Marvel does, and you just call it a new thing, and you restart it with the number 1. But I'm not entirely sure why that choice was made. It seems kind of weird to me, but whatever. I'm gonna keep reading it because besides Kill or Be Killed, Black Hammer is probably my favorite book, and I mean, I'm gonna read it regardless, even if it annoys me that it's restarting. And then the rest of the books are all DC. The majority of what I'm reading and now in singles is mostly DC. First is Batman White Knight. This is number 3. I've only read the first issue, but enjoyed the first one. I'm not always a huge fan of Sean Murphy's art, but I am in this story, and I really like the first issue, so we'll be continuing with that. I picked up, this is Mr. Miracle number 5. I've been loving this series. I haven't read the 4th issue or the 5th issue, but I'll be able to read them kind of back to back. Really, really enjoying that. And then 2 issues of Batman. This is 36 and 37. This is a 2-part story arc, as far as I know, with Clark and Lois and Bruce and Selina. One thing that Batman has done for me that some of the other bi-weekly shipping books hasn't done, at least lately, is these kind of like short 2-parter stories, the one-shots or whatever that they're kind of inserting because the book is coming out so quickly. The ones in Batman have been really good, and I heard that this story is really good, so I'm looking forward to that. The Swamp Thing one-shot, I think it was number 23. Was, like, if not my favorite, definitely one of my favorite issues that I read last year. So I think that's why Batman's been working so well for me lately. And Tom King is writing them regardless, so they're not putting new teams on the books like Superman. Every once in a while, there's like a different writer and a different artist on the book telling a different story. It just feels kind of disjointed to me, so. And then another DC book that I'm actually really enjoying that I picked up recently, this is Aquaman number 31. I picked it up at issue 25 when this, I think it's called The Underworld. The Underworld story started. Aquaman is kind of leading a revolution to kind of get his throne back, even though he says that's not what he wants. But it's been interesting. I've really liked it. I'm going to continue with that. I have issue 2 of Doomsday Clock. I haven't read the second issue, but I read the first issue and enjoyed it. I mean, I don't think that it's anything that's going to blow me away, but I'm also not super, like, upset that they're making another Watchmen book, so, I mean, that's just me. This is Dark Knight's Metal number 4. I haven't read this since issue 2 because I haven't really been enjoying it. I don't know if I understand the hype around the miniseries itself. And I'll read it. I have all the issues pre-ordered, so I'll read them when they're all out, and I guess we'll see how I feel at that point. And then the last DC book that I'm reading, this is Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps. This is number 34 and 35. This is part of the Controllers storyline, Twilight of the Guardians, I think it's called. And Manipul covers on these, which is pretty cool. Hal Jordan's been a solid book. I don't know if I would say that it's been amazing, but I want to read. I like to have a Green Lantern book on a regular basis, and that's been the better of the bunch. So I guess not the bunch. There's only one other one. It's better than the Green Lanterns book, so at least in my opinion. Okay, so that's all the new books that I got for December. Obviously, we're a little late at this point, and I'm going to be having new books come in probably 2 weeks for the month of January, but it is what it is. So now I have a couple things that I got for Christmas. One book that I bought for myself that I didn't feel right asking someone else to get it for me because it's so pricey, and it's something that I really wanted. I mentioned in an older video when I was reading Mr. Miracle that I'd liked some backstory on these characters, and so I picked up the Fourth World, the Jack Kirby Fourth World Omnibus. This book is a monster, and I kind of wish that it came out in two separate volumes because it's difficult to read this way. But I also understand wanting to have it all collected in one volume. I mean, reading the forward in this book, it really sounds like that was what Kirby's vision was, and if that's the case, I totally get it. But it's massive, and it's difficult to read at one time. Like I can't be sitting in a chair and reading it. Like it's got to be laid out on the table because it's just like that huge. It's like hard to hold. So, but this collects all of Kirby's issues of Jimmy Olsen, New Gods, Forever People, Mr. Miracle, and the Hunger Dogs. I'm probably 60% of the way through this. I think that the Jimmy Olsen issues, except for like the first couple that are leading up to the other book starting, the Jimmy Olsen issues are my least favorite of the bunch. They're just, the storyline isn't quite as interesting as what you're getting in the other issues, and I think my favorite is probably the Mr. Miracle book. But yeah, like I said, I'm probably about 60% of the way through this. I'm taking a break right now to check out some other stuff, but I'll take the dust jacket off too to show you the actual book itself is gorgeous. This is the actual book minus the dust jacket with Orion, Jack Kirby kind of on the spine there. It's an Orion wraparound cover. So really, really enjoying that. I mean, the cover price is $150, so it's not a cheap book. I think I got it. I bought it on InStock when I had like how InStock works. If you buy something, they give you like a little bit of an extra percentage off to get you to come back shortly after. So I'd purchased something and then I went back and bought that again, and it was 50% off at the time. So I think I got it for like $70, maybe a little bit more, but that's a pretty good deal. I mean, there's no way that I would ever pay $150 cover price for that. I understand that there's some people don't have other ways to get it, but in-stock trades it's always my way to go. You get things at a really awesome price, so I had to pick that up. And then I got this from my parents. This was I think it was on my Amazon wish list, and it had been for a really long time because this has a hefty cover price too. Not as bad as that. Obviously, it is a $60 cover price, but this is the Meta Barons hardcover, like the collection. So this is written by Alejandro Jodorowsky. Art is by Juan Jimenez, and the Meta Baron is a character that first appeared in the Incal, which is Jodorowsky and Mobius, which I'm a huge fan of. I've never read anything Meta Barons related, so I thought that this would be the best way to do it. The artwork in this book is absolutely amazing. It's so detailed. I have a page mark just to kind of show you. This is like everything that I love about sci-fi comics. This is what I want in a book. So I can't wait to, as soon as I'm done with that massive Fourth World book, this is definitely going to be what I read next, and I can't wait to get into it. I believe they've done more since then. I think there's more Meta Barons books, so we'll see. But can't wait to get into that guy. Okay, so those are the things I got for Christmas, comic book related things. And now I have a couple of trips to Second and Charles worth of books. Just a couple of singles, and then the rest are trades. So I finally found the 4-issue Tower of Babel storyline from JLA. This is written by Mark Waid. At least I think it is. Yep. I have this thing where I have a bunch of like short 4-issue, 5-issue story arcs like on a list that I want to check out and read that are easier to get in singles and in trades just because they're all over the place. I have this thing where I want to get them all at once so I can go home and read it. So I ended up finally finding them all at once. For like the last year, I find like 1 issue or 2 issues and I haven't picked them up. Obviously, if I would have just picked them up, I would have had it finished a long time ago, but that's besides the point. So this is JLA number 43, 44, 45, and 46. So that's just a little 4-parter. I'm going to read that here pretty soon. That will go on the to-read pile. And then last week, I think it was last week, at Second and Charles, I just picked up a couple of trades. There wasn't anything that I was too crazy about, so I picked up this DC Universe Stories of Alan Moore. This is a collection of some of his short story DC work. There's some really awesome books in here that I've been looking for in single issues, and that's kind of why I bought them, or I bought this trade. So this has Superman Annual number 11, which is the For the Man Who Has Everything story with Dave Gibbons on art. There's a couple stories from Detective, Mogo Doesn't Socialize, which is one of his Green Lantern stories, some Vigilante stories, some Omega Men stories. DC Comics Presents 85, which is a Swamp Thing story from DC Comics Presents, is in here. Both of the Tales of the Green Lantern Corps stories are in here. Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow, Part 1 and Part 2. And a story from Batman Annual number 11 and The Killing Joke are all collected in here. So this is, those are all stories that I had on a list, and they were single issues that I was looking for. They're obviously, some of them are more popular, so they're a little bit harder to get. This is the easiest way to get all those stories kind of in one place. I think DC just did a reprint of this book. But this is the older original printing, so excited to have that so I can read through some of that stuff. Finally found a hardcover copy of Black Hole by Charles Burns. I've never read it before because I really was really holding out for the hardcover. It looks fantastic without the dust jacket on. I see the paperbacks all over the place, and I really wanted to check it out and read it. I'm trying to find a page that doesn't have any nudity or weirdness on it, so I can show you Charles Burns' art. Looking forward to getting into that. That should be a decently quick read, so I'll probably get to that one pretty soon. And then a couple more hardcovers that I picked up. I got another Jodorowsky book that I don't know anything about. This is Showman Killer. This is put out by Titan Comics. This is one of 3 hardcover volumes. And art is by Nicholas Fructus. I know that it's sci-fi related, and other than that, I don't really know. So I'll show you a little bit of the art. Tons more nudity in here, so we'll find a good page. It's oversized, which is nice, but it's also really thin. So interested to check that out. And then I picked out a book that I'm really excited about, but I don't know anything about it. It looks like what I like to read, so that's why I picked it up. And it's really exciting to me when I find something like that I've never heard of before, but it looks like it's going to be my new favorite thing. This is Hip Flask. It's called Concrete Jungle, so it's labeled as a volume 2, put out by Image Comics, and I wasn't able to find a lot of information online. At least I was searching on eBay when I was at Second and Charles to see if it was going to cost me $1 million to get volume 1. But just like looking through the art, it looks like my type of thing. There's a talking hippo and a talking zebra. So, I mean, it looks like it's kind of bizarre, a little bit out there. But I'm really looking forward to checking it out. I kind of hope that I don't need to read the first volume to read this one. If you know anything about this, please let me know. I'm going to do some research and see if I need to pick up the first volume to check this out, but I'm really looking forward to it. It's like extra oversized. This Showman Killer book is oversized, and then this is probably 2 inches taller. So, so very interesting. And like I said, I've never heard of it, never seen it before. But it looks like it's totally my thing. So can't wait to get into that. And that is it. That didn't take me very long, but it felt like a lot of stuff. My next video will probably be up, I'm thinking, in a couple of weeks when I get my next DCBS order, and then I'm going to put in an in-stock trades order at the same time, and we'll go from there. I think that my comic book buying is going to have to change. My wife and I are expecting, and the baby is, we're expecting the baby the first week of March, so I'm not going to have as much time to go out and do this random stuff that I have been doing, going to Second and Charles and just buying random things. So I'm thinking a lot of my buying is going to switch to, a lot of my back issue reading is going to switch to trade just because it's easier to get them that way. And I'm going to be doing a lot more shopping online just because I don't have the availability that I used to. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you're reading, what you're liking. If you have any thoughts about any of the stuff that I showed. Like I said, I'll be back in probably a couple of weeks to show my new books for the month of January. In the meantime, take care, and I will talk to you again soon.